I'm Barry Tramel, and after 3-0 starts by both of our major college football teams, I say we've learned more about the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
I think it might be the Oklahoma Sooners. From the Opopco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson. News OK's Press Row is sponsored by Eskridge Lexus. Stop in and see them today. Barry, 3-0 starts, and it is a little bit topsy-turvy. I don't know if we've learned everything we need to know yet about these two, but we're starting to learn a little bit more, at least.
Well, I think the thing that you want to learn, the only relevant question about Oklahoma, Barry Switzer said it when he coached 30 years ago. It's true today. Can the Sooners beat Texas? We haven't learned that yet. We don't know if Landry Jones is going to be a consistent passer that day in the Cotton Bowl. He's been hot and cold so far this year. We haven't learned that. We have learned what we needed to learn about Oklahoma State, which is, was the Texas Tech offense going to be transported to Stillwater? And the answer is yes. 65-28 over Tulsa the other night. It was 58-7 at one point. Had a wild one with Troy. Texas Tech always played wild games. Tore up Washington State. I don't know how many games Oklahoma State's going to win, but I do know this. The Texas Tech offense has been successfully transported to Stillwater.
I think that the question about Oklahoma State, though, that remains is how is that offense, and I think how's the Oklahoma State defense, too, how are they going to play against better competition? I mean, Washington State, clearly not very good. Tulsa, not very good. Troy, a decent team, but not to the level that you're going to see consistently in the Big 12. So how does Oklahoma State's abilities that we've seen through 3 games, how do those translate over to those better teams? And that's really a question that's still up in the air. So I think a lot will be determined as we move forward. Texas A&M on the horizon, not this week, but next week on a Thursday night. While Texas A&M struggled this past weekend, Barry, I think that A&M game really is going to give us an idea where Oklahoma State is, because I still think there are questions. How will they play against those better teams?
Well, I agree. A&M is going to be a huge game in determining this season. But I do know this. Oklahoma State's going to score on A&M. Now, this OSU offense, it's got some problems in terms of turnovers. The Troy game was ridiculous. Troy lost to UAB last Saturday, so Troy is not quite the Doberman that we thought maybe they were. But this Oklahoma State offense has proven that it is going to score. Now, meanwhile in Norman, the Sooners, I'm not sure you know what you get. Air Force is a completely off-the-chart opponent. Bob Stoops said, you don't learn from playing them. You don't get anything in terms of preparation because everything is so different. So Air Force, while it's great to win, it's a good notch in the belt, doesn't really advance your cause the rest of the season. I think the Sooners still have some questions about how good they are. Now, are they good? Yes, but how good? We still don't know.
Now, I think that is true. We still have questions about that. But I will say this. I do think that we've learned that this Oklahoma team, like a lot of other Oklahoma teams, can handle adversity. They can handle pressure. They have been in 2 really close games so far, and on Saturdays that nobody thought they'd be in close games. They responded, they won those games, and then they had a game where everybody thought they were going to be tested, and they took Florida State to the woodshed. So this is a team that, to me, I think is starting to show that ability to win, and honestly, that is an important characteristic. You've got to have that instinct, whether it means hanging in there and beating an Air Force, hanging in there and beating a Utah State, or coming to play and really blowing out Florida State. I think we're starting to see some of those intangibles with this team, Barry. You do ask the question, can this team beat Texas? I don't know just yet, but I think what the Cincinnati game coming up is not going to be the telltale because Cincinnati's not very good. But going on the road, winning, that's going to be important. I think we'll know more after that game on Saturday. Hey, stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman. News OK's Press Row is sponsored by Eskridge Lexus. Stop in and see them today.